So my question is basically this, and that is, if you listen to what the reports are with what Trump's going to do, and what the team has put together, I think you will agree that Trump's more disciplined, or his organization is more disciplined than it was. They obviously have a short window because it's not 4 years, it's 2 years. And it
Mhm.
appears as though it's going to be a shock and awe kind of deal of him coming out off the 20th. The press hasn't really reconciled that with how they covered the White House in the past 3 or 4 years. At the same time, they've never named names of the guys who were in the quote unquote advisors to Biden, which no one ever holds them accountable for some of the decisions that were made. How are you guys going to catch up or be able to get on the train? Because I think he's going to blow right past you. I think Trump is
Yeah.
going to stay in this mode of not being in front of the camera, and he's just going to blow the first 2 years go by. And when people start seeing the results, I think they're going to adapt. Now, how are you going to catch up, or how are you going to reconcile how we didn't cover this, how we didn't cover
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Okay, how do you not,
Donald, it's a brilliant questions. Now, I will say before I turn it over to Mark, Mark is one of the reporters who is I exempt from my normal critique of
Mhm.
failure.
Mhm.
Mark is a clear-eyed, honest, fair reporter, which is why he's got such great sources across the board. So he can speak for himself in a minute, but Mark is not going to. They're not going to blow by Mark. They may blow his most. I have said before, I don't understand how these news organizations can have the same people, the same editors, the same anchors, the same correspondents covering the Trump administration who just spent 4 years colluding with the Biden administration without coming clean. I just don't understand it. So that's part of the problem. But I think you put your finger on a thing that my friend Joe says, if you're moving 800 miles an hour, it's very hard for anybody to keep up with you. And I think you're right that it's going to be difficult, particularly because the Democratic donors are dispirited. And I already talked earlier in the program about the lack of big figures who can try to keep rhetorically up with Trump. And there'll always be a seven-ring circus going on. So even if the press tries its hardest to covering all seven rings is going to be tough. So the ideology is a problem, the bandwidth is a problem, and the fact that Trump has an army now, inside and outside. All those podcasters and all those people on social media, they're not going away. They're part of this whole operation, and there are no analogs on the left,
as
uh,
well as the power
yeah,
of MAGA?
as well as the power of